Good evening. Welcome to round robin game number 2 for the CCM Chicago World Invite. Game earlier today against the Chicago Phantoms. Gorman with a tie 1-1 game. This evening, Gorman taking on the PHA Icemen out of wherever the PHA Icemen come from. Getting ready to kick off the game. We're got a few waiting for the referees to hop on the ice here. Gorman wearing their orange again. There will be 3 games remaining, 4 games total for the round robin. Looking ahead, tomorrow, Saturday game number 3 for Gorman will be against Team Illinois, who has gone undefeated so far through round robin play. That game will be at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And the final round robin game against Lake Forest Academy will take place tomorrow night at, that'll be 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. All right. Faircloth in net for game number 2. Larison, Rubino at the blue line to kick off the game. For your forward crew, Creel, Johnson, and Fitzy. "15 minutes on the board. Johnson in for the puck drop. And the Icemen win it back to their blue line. Chip it up on the far side, interrupted and picked up by Fitzy. And they're going to call offsides. Johnson in for the puck drop. Comes out in favor of Gorman. Rubino chips it down into Iceman territory. Creel gets there first. Working with Cass Johnson. Back behind the goal line. Loops through the crease. Kept in play by Larison. Chips it back up. Creel. Puck comes out to Creel. Face-off dot. Tied up shot. Follow-up shot just off the post. And Rubino having to back check to pick up puck at the goal line. Cash Johnson there for a stretch pass. Comes out to Creel at the blue line. Poke checked off. Puck loose at the feet. Larison wires it in and out of play. With 14:08 remaining. Godino, Fish, Westwood, Trent, and Posner. Fish in for the face-off. Gorman couldn't hold on to it. PHA Icemen bring it into the zone. Poke checked off, picked up by Godino. Godino and Westwood on the rush. Westwood through the middle. Shot loose out front. Picked up by the Icemen. Poke checked off by Fish. Icemen recover and bring it along the near wall. Sent aside by Faircloth. Poke checked out by Posner. Fish couldn't connect with the pass. Posner makes the line, wires it in. And the goalie will be there to stop that back behind the net. Luong in at the blue line with Baldy. Fed back down low, picked up by the Icemen. And they'll send it around the boards and go for a change. Godino on the far wall, trying to chip it across, turned over. Westwood picks it up on the far side. And Icemen will have to tag up Gorman. Regroup back at the hash marks. Luong lost an edge. Kerr on the far wall gets tied up. Could have been a hooking call there. Nothing from the refs. Icemen working along the near wall. Puck comes out, couldn't clear. Luong sends it across. No one there for Gorman. And the Icemen chip it into Gorman territory. Could have been offsides, not called. Fed out through the neutral zone. Pass picked up by Jennings. Jennings checked off his stick. Break out the other way, picked up by Larison. Larison walks it in the near corner, working by himself. Iceman sent it around the near side. Mesa comes in, couldn't get there in time, bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Larison hit in the neutral zone as it's sent down. Rubino gloves it down, and that'll be out of play. Face-off coming up. Looks like we're going to do this back in Gorman's D-zone. Klaus, Rubino, Davis, Mesa, and Larison. Davison for the puck drop. Davis wins it back to Rubino. Rubino chips it off the glass. Glove down. Davis trying to hit it out. Feed comes through. No icing. Mesa back behind the net, sends it around. Davis comes in the corner. Mesa couldn't come away with it. Icemen bring it out through the neutral zone. Poke checked off by Davis. And recovered by the Icemen. And the Iceman sends it into Gorman D zone. It's going to be picked up by Johnson. Rubino sends it around to Larison. Back to Rubino behind the net. Slow start for Gorman. Rubino tripped. No call. Rubino brings it back the other way with Creel. And no one could connect on the pass. Iceman bring it back the other way. Trent presses the player off the puck. Fitzy working down into the near corner. Rubino chips it up. Out of reach of Creel. Blue line pass by the Icemen. They chip it in. Live puck in Gorman territory. Trent back behind the goal line. Drops it back. No one there. Posner trying to chip it up. Does. Still in zone. Almost makes it over to players loose in the slot. Pass broken up by Posner, and that's going to get covered. .52 remaining in the first period. And getting the goal situated here. Fish, Westwood, Posner, Trent, and Godino. Bouncing puck, clears. That's going to have enough for an icing. And it's going to come on back into the Gorman D zone. 9:42 remaining in the first period. Still 0-0, shots on goal tied at 1-1. Puck comes out in favor of Gorman. Trent feeds it up to Godino through the neutral zone. Blue line pass, shot, and swallowed up. Face-off coming up in the Icemen D zone. Fish in for the face-off. Godino comes away with it. Icemen looking for an exit strategy back in their corner. Feed it out along the far side. Chipped up, couldn't clear. Shot, Posner. Deflected up front by Godino. And didn't make it to the net. Icemen feed it back down low. Posner cycles back the other way. Glove save, Faircloth. D-zone face-off for Gorman. Kerr, Jennings, Bonifazio, Luong. And Baldy poke-checked off the stick of Baldy. Cycled back around. Shot off the body, loose out front, off the glove. Cleared by Baldy. Out to Jennings along the far wall. Chipped up, bad angle. Fed down low, Kerr on the forecheck. Bonifazio comes into support in the near corner. Sent around the boards to the far side. Jennings trying to steal the puck. Sent around the boards, cleared by the Icemen, and it's a one-on-one race the other direction. Baldy poke checks it. Got a man picked up, and Jennings going to bring it back the other way. Chips it in. He's going to go for a change. Bonifazio working back behind the goal line. Davis, Klaus in for Gorman. Davis poke checks it up. Shot. Klaus goes to feed Klaus. Couldn't get the shot off. Mesa comes in, forcing him on the outside. Poke checked off, picked up by Rubino. Cross ice pass to Larison. Larison walks it in. Larison feeds Davis back to the blue line. Shot! Just over, hit the glove. And kept in play by Klaus as he feeds it back down low. Huge hit by Mesa. Out up front, Davis tied up, loose. Shot off the pad, still loose. And Icemen come away with it. Larison feeds it back down low with a shot. Davis is going to grab it on the far side. Stick lift up, poke checked out. And it's foot race the other way. That one's picked up by Rubino. Rubino feeds it out to Mesa, couldn't connect. Davis chips it out to Klaus. Stick lift, no icing on that one. And Gorman's going to go for a full change. Stretch pass, picked up by Cash Johnson. Entry by the Icemen, shot, save, cleared, still loose in the slot. And it gets picked up by Cash Johnson. Poke checked off, wired down around the boards. Gorman will tag up. Creel comes in with a huge hit, fed back out to the blue line. Trent feeds it back down low. Fitzy. Feed Creel, couldn't get the shot off. And the Icemen break out into the neutral zone. Trent feeds it out on the far side, out to Fitzy. Makes his own, puck in the air. Offsides. Gorman tagging up. And Gorman going to go for a change. Stretch pass, no one home. No icing. It's an interesting couple games here. The lack of icing calls. Puck comes out into the far corner. Baldy sends it to Westwood. through the neutral zone. Chips it down low. Godino back behind the net. Pulled off the puck. Godino feeds the blue line. Luong off the skate. Shot off the pad into the near corner. Godino chips it out to Fish. Fish back behind the goal line. Feeds the blue line. Baldy, shot. Goes through the crease. Luong pinches up. Fed back down to Godino. He's got a man on him. Comes away with it. Trying to get a shot off. And chipped out the other way. And that one will be an ice. And faceoff's going to come back to the Icemen D zone. Kerr, Jennings, Bonifazio, Larison, and Rubino in. Kerr in for the buck drop. Gorman wins it back. Larison winds up off the shin. Chips it back down low. Iceman going to get there for Gorman. Kerr poke checks that up. Kept in by the Iceman. Larison comes in, sorry. Kerr comes in, lost it. At the feet of the ref. Iceman trying to break out, they do. Chip it around, Rubino on the back check. Chips it out. Clears, and 2-on-2 the other way. Shot, loose up front, loose behind. And they're going to say it's out with 4:19 remaining as the goalie dove outside the crease to grab it. Kerr in for the face-off. Icemen come away with it. Back behind the net, flushed out by Jennings. Off the glass, cleared. Larison scoops that up, feeds Jennings through the neutral zone. In the middle, no one there. And Trent will have to come out to retrieve that one. Back at the blue line. Posner back to Trent. Bonifazio dumps it in, and the line will go for a change. Jennings tries stuffing it short side, takes a hit, and covered. And face-off coming up. Maybe. Nope, looks like it's going to be a penalty here. Didn't see anything egregious, but cross-checking is the call. Not sure what number it is. We're just going to go with 00 for now. Number 58, we're going to leave it at 00. Fish, Davis, Godino, Creel, and Trent. Puck comes out to Godino. Trent. Shot. Bounces up and over. And kept in play by Godino. Foot race the other way as Trent tied up. Through the neutral zone. Feeds it back to Creel. Stretch out to Davis. Davis makes his own. Drops it back to Fish. And PHA Icemen able to clear. Trent along the far side, walks it up, back behind the net. Feeds it out to Godino. Davis posted up front, shot. Goes up and over and out of reach. And that clears. Dropped back to Fish. Fish out to Godino. Back to Fish. Sorry, to Creel. Creel takes a hit from behind. Fed back out to the blue line. Trent, shot, loose, and cleared off the glass with 5 seconds remaining in the power play for Gorman. And we are back to 5-on-5 play. Larison beats it through, chipped in by Westwood. Cash Johnson battling, gets taken down, turned around by Westwood, chips it up to himself, picked off by the Iceman, and bounce puck to the feet of Larison. Kerr drops it back. Larison back to Johnson. Iceman picked that one up in the middle of the ice, and Kerr forces him off the puck, picked up by Rubino. Regroup to Rubino at the goal line, chips it up, out of reach, and the Icemen are going to send it back the other way, on net. Gorman trying to clear the zone. Larison gets tied up, sends it in off a body at the feet of Westwood. High in the slot, Rubino trying to find space, feeds it back down low. Jennings comes in, face-off dot, shot off a stick and up and over. 51 seconds remaining in the first period. Westwood working down low. Fitzy back behind the net. Luong pinches in for a shot. And the Icemen chip it out the other way. And puck still coming out in favor of the Icemen. Chipped across, no one there. And it's going to be covered by Faircloth with about 17 seconds remaining in the first period. Face-off coming up in the Gorman D zone. Jennings, Luong, Bonifazio, Fitzy. Shot, pad save. Baldy is the other defenseman in the lineup, kept in play by the Icemen. Tipped down by Jennings, still in play. 3 seconds. Baldy walks it out, and that'll wrap up the first period. All right, kicking off the second period. Klaus, Mesa, Davis, Rubino, and Larison. 15 minutes on the board. Shots on goal 8-7 in favor of Bishop Gorman Gales. Davis in for the puck drop. Comes out. Iceman bring it in the zone and send it down into Gorman territory. Larison cycles back. Feeds out to Mesa. Couldn't field that one cleanly. And he gets tripped up back behind the play. And that's going to be covered by Faircloth. And fresh defenseman will come on. for the defensive zone draw for Gorman. Davison for the faceoff, wins it back. Puck lobbed up. Mesa brings it into the zone, gets tripped up. Davis tripped right off the draw. No penalty on that one either. Klaus at the hash marks. Puck chipped out past Trent. Out to Posner. Posner in a foot race back. Stretch pass out to Klaus. Feeds it out to Davis. Westwood comes in for Gorman, feeds it out to Trent. Trent shot short side. And that'll be a stoppage of play with a save. Fish, Godino, Westwood, Bosner, and Trent. Puck sent wide off the faceoff. Godino brings it around the far side. Shot off the pads. Bosner goes to grab that one, couldn't get enough of it. And the Icemen bring it in the Gorman zone. Shot blocked by Trent. Puck lobbed up in the air, gloved down by the Icemen. Sent back down low. Stretch pass out to Godino, chipped off the boards to Westwood, and that's going to be offsides. And we're going to spot this one just outside the Gorman zone. Johnson, Fitzy, Creel, Luong, and Baldy. Puck comes out to Baldy off the faceoff. Cycles back around, out to Luong. Pass chipped up and into the PHA bench. They're going to bring this one all the way back outside Gorman net. Johnson in for the faceoff, wins it back. Picked up by Luong. Sent around the boards, out to Fitzy, cleared. Stretch pass, just off the stick of Johnson. Creel couldn't come away with it, kept in play by Johnson. Shot off the stick. Puck comes out, gloved down by Baldy. Baldy walks it up, gets hooked. No call on the hook. Baldy feeds it back down low, tipped by Fitzy, goes wide. And the refs are just hanging out with each other, not really covering the ice. 3 refs in the game, no icing. Luong, stretch pass out to Creel, couldn't field that one cleanly. And the Icemen bring it back the other way. Baldy takes a hit back behind the play. Puck out to the blue line, shot. And swallowed up by Faircloth with 11:48 remaining in the second period. Slow start for Gorman. Kerr in for the faceoff. And bench minor for Gorman. Gorman going to be on the penalty kill. Creel, Godino, Rubino, and Larison. Westwood serving the bench minor. Creel picks that one up, chips it out. 2-on-1 the other way. Creel drops it back. Godino picks it up on the far side. Cycles back over to Rubino. Rubino sends it around the boards. Godino's going to get there for Gorman. Pins along the boards. Minute remaining on the penalty kill. Creel chips it up to Godino. In comes 50 for Creel. And Fish for Godino. Puck behind the slot, shot off of leg of Fish. And Fitzy on the rush the other way. Shot, pad save. Fed through the crease, out to Fish, shot, goal! And it's a shorthanded goal for Gorman off the bench minor with 31 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. All right, Gorman still on the penalty kill. Posner, Trent, Fish, and Fitzy. Face-off comes out to the feet of Trent. Icemen come away with it. Bring it in the zone. Fish presses him to the board. High in the slot, shot, save off the post. 14 seconds remaining on the penalty kill. And puck clears. Fish gonna head to the bench. Davis and Klaus. Poke checked off. Sent around the boards. Westwood out of the box. Posner working down low in the corner. And the net comes off. .10:03 remaining in the second period. Shots on goal, 13-9 in favor of Gorman. Davis, Klaus, Mesa, Baldy, and Luong. Davison for the face-off in the D-zone. Comes out in favor of Gorman, center on the boards to Baldy. Davis on the rush, bouncing puck through the middle. Mesa almost gets there in time. Chipped out, comes out over to Baldy. Off the boards to Davis. Davis wires it down in. And Mesa goes on the forecheck. He's got Klaus posted out front. On the far wall, back to Mesa. Davis right in front of the crease. Stretch pass. Couldn't connect. That will be an icing. And it's going to come on back. Same crew for Gorman. Mesa, Klaus, Davis, Baldy, and Luong. 9:33 remaining in the second period. Gorman with a 1-0 lead. Shots on goal, 13-9 in favor of Gorman. Davison for the faceoff. Comes out in favor of the Icemen. Center on the boards. Baldy kips that one in play. Comes out to Davis. Stick lift, and Icemen bring it back the other way with an opportunity. Luong pushes him off the puck, fed through the crease, cleared, glove down, loose, and cleared by Baldy. Mesa is going to cycle back, lost the stick. Bouncing puck, still in the zone. Luong comes away with it. Fed through. Davis wires it in, go for a change. Stretch pass out the other way. Gonna get picked up by Larison on the chip. Rubino sends it out, tipped by Westwood. No icing on that one. Fish keeps it at the far wall, picked up by the Icemen. Sorry. Larison chips that one off. Offsides. Still offsides. But okay. Fish and Godino 2-on-2 the other way. Westwood, third forward, couldn't field that one to get the shot off. Fed back out to Westwood at the blue line. Drops back for Godino, shot loose, out of reach of Westwood. Puck sent around the boards along to the near side. And the Icemen bring it through the neutral zone the other way. Larison, lone defenseman back there. Godino with a monster hit on the far wall. Puck comes out, back behind the net with Larison. Feeds it out. Westwood brings it in. Stretch pass to Godino on the other side. Got Westwood back behind the net, couldn't connect. Sorry, that is not Westwood, that is Fish. Posner, shot, tipped off the pad. Westwood takes a hit along the boards. And Icemen bring it back the other way. And I have a feeling this one's going to get ugly. Puck comes out to the blue line, shot off the pads, goes wide. Out to Westwood, chips it up to Fish. Taking his time, he's got Fitzy in motion, feeds Fitzy. Shot off the pads, still loose. Fitzy picks up the loose change, feeds Posner at the blue line. He's got space, shot, loose out front. And clearing attempt denied. Johnson keeps it in play. Out to Trent. Trent walks it up. Face-off dot. Stuffs it short side, denied, and the Icemen are going to bring it back the other direction. Lobbed it down low, and they're going to go for a change. Pass picked off, shot, loose, follow-up shot, glove save. Faircloth bailing out Gorman on a pass that was denied. 5:52 remaining in the second period. There will be a cut between the second and third. Face-off coming up in Gorman D-zone. Kerr, Jennings, Bonifazio, Baldy, and Luong. Kerr wins that one back. Cleared by Jennings, picked up by the Icemen. And Gorman's going to regroup at the blue line. Luong chips it out to Bonifazio. Sends it. And covered by the goaltender. Shots on goal 17-13 in favor of Gorman. Puck loose at the feet. Jennings and Kerr working back behind the goal line. Jennings beats Kerr. Shot loose in the crease. Picked up by the Icemen. And gets around Baldy. Baldy recovers. Chipped out. Couldn't clear. Baldy feeds it down low. Kerr and Jennings. Jennings feeds it across. No one home for Gorman. And it's an opportunity the other way. Denied by Baldy. Makes the line. Luong feeds it down low in the opposite corner. And Gorman looking to get in a change. Loose at the front. Rubino feeds it out to the far side. Larison back to Rubino. Shot off the leg. Icemen poke checked off. Klaus and Davis. Klaus feeds it out to Davis up front. Backhands it. Pad save. Fed through the crease. Out to Larison. Shot. And swallowed up by the goaltender. Larison with a shot from the faceoff dot. D-zone faceoff coming up for the Icemen. Davis, Mesa, Klaus, Rubino, and Larison. Davis in for the puck drop. Davis wins it back to Larison. Shot. Tipped, goes wide. Mesa working back behind the goal line. Fed out the other side. And foot race the other way. Faircloth chips it out. Kept in play. Klaus drops it back for Mesa. Off the post. Sent around the boards. Davis pinches up. Fed through into the slot. Picked up by Klaus. Just over the post on the back of the net. Fed right loose in the crease. No one there for Gorman or the Icemen. Icemen feed it back out. Back to the blue line. Rubino tied up. Couldn't get the shot off. Back to Larison at the blue line. Chip down low. Mesa. Davis goes into the corner. Fed back out to the blue line again. Larison walks it up. Shot. Loose out front. Davis backhand shot. Couldn't get it there. Back out to Rubino. Walks it up. Feeds it across. Shot. Off the glove. Rubino lost his stick. Davis comes in. Near wall. Feeds out to Larison. Godino now shot off a body. Rubino heading back to the bench. Missing a stick. And that is going to get cleared by the Icemen for a nice sing. The Icemen with the ice sing. Dad jokes abound. Westwood, Fish, Godino, Trent, and Posner. Fish in for the puck drop. 2:49 remaining in the second. There will be an ice cut between the second and third. Godino cycles around, feeds the blue line. Trent keeps it in play. Shot. Tipped, goes wide. Hits the pad on the way over into the near corner. Fish trying to feed. Got denied. Back out to Trent. Near side shot. Goal! He saw it. He wanted it over the goalie's left shoulder. And into the back of the net. Gorman with a 2-0 lead. Same line for Gorman. Icemen come away with a face-off win. Chip it up, denied by Westwood. Fed back out to Godino. Godino poke checked off his stick. Fish walks it up. Godino posted out front, or Westwood posted out front, sorry. And the Icemen denied. And that's going to get picked up by Fish. Stretch pass out to Westwood. Brings it through the blue line. Posner, shot, pad save. And 3-on-1 the other way. Pad save. Faircloth and Gorman chips it up and out the other way. Godino in a foot race, picked up by the Icemen, fed out. Kick back. Baldy, Luong walks it in. Shot. Off the shin, goes wide. Pass comes off the skate, back out to Baldy. Baldy drops it back to Westwood. Johnson, high in the slot, shot, blocker save, into the near corner. Westwood takes a hit, sending it over to Long. Fed high in the slot. Baldy shot off the shin and clears the zone. Chipped off. Fitzy scoops it up the neutral zone, gets tied up, breaks away. Walks it in, shot. Denied, sends into the corner. Creel takes a cross check in the hip. Icemen with a clear. Baldy's got a man on him, feeds back the other way. Again, I'm not sure why the refs are 2 feet away from each other. Usually try not to commentate too much, but not quite sure what we're trying to cover with 3 refs when they're 3 feet away from each other. Stretch pass out the other way, 2-0. Goal, Creel with a feed from Fitzy with 9.9 seconds left in the second period. Gorman with a 3-0 lead now to wrap up the second period. And not sure what we're doing. Having a conversation at the Icemen bench with the coach and the refs. Kerr, Bonifazio, Jennings, Rubino, and Larson. Puck chipped up, not cleared. Jennings with a huge hit along the near boards. Faircloth sends it back out to Rubino, and he's just going to hold on to that one to close out the second period. As the teams cautiously cross each other on their way to the locker rooms. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for just a little bit here. We're going to do an ice cut, and we will see you in a few. right, getting ready to kick off the third period. Both teams taking the ice after the ice cut. So we're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. Gorman with a 3-0 lead. Heading into the third period, shots on goal 23-14 in favor of Bishop Gorman Gales. Kicking off the third period for Gorman, Westwood, Fish, Godino, Larison, and Rubino. Icemen win the faceoff. Stretch pass through, no one there. And that's going to be an icing as the crowd cheers with the icing call. Fish in for the puck drop. Picked up by Gorman. Glove down by Westwood back behind the goal line. Westwood cycles it back to Godino. He's got Fish posted out front, feeds the blue line instead. Larison feeds it back down low to Godino and couldn't get a hold of that one. Opportunity for the Icemen. Shot off the post. Larison drops it back to Godino, chips it out, couldn't clear, shot off the pads. Fish comes in, Icemen keep it in the zone. And Larison's gonna pick it up along the near wall, feed it out to Godino on the far side. Puck glove down, hand pass. For a stoppage of play. We're going to have a face-off here in the neutral zone. Puck comes out in favor of the Icemen. Icemen wire it down. No icing on that one. Trent chips it off the glass. Sorry, Baldy. Johnson comes away with it. In the zone, Creel posted out front. Drop back to Luong. Luong takes a hit. Check back out and clears. Cash Johnson sends it over to Baldy. Baldy dingles through, drops it to Fitz. Cleared from in front of the net by Cash Johnson. Shoveled up, still in the zone. Walked up high, shot, tipped out front, picked up by Baldy. Faircloth tripped up. Loose, and Gorman gets the clear. Creel on the forecheck for another icing. And it's going to come back to the Gorman D zone. Fresh legs for Gorman. Bonifazio, Kerr, Jennings, Trent, and Posner. Curran for the faceoff, wins it back to Trent. Trent's going to bounce it through the neutral zone. Icemen chip it in, scooped up by Trent at the faceoff circle. Cleared by Gorman. Bonifazio forces a pass on the other side. Posner feeds it out to Kerr, fires it down low. Icemen make it through the neutral zone. Kerr gives a hit. And Trent going to regroup back behind the net. Pass out to Bonifazio, tipped and waved off as the icing. Klaus, Davis, and Bonifazio in. Stretch pass. Larson fires it across. Long shift for Bonifazio. Puck sent around the boards. Kept in by Larson. Back out to Rubino. Shot. Pad save. Comes out. Clears. And Rubino comes back. Sends it out to Larson. Wires it in. Mesa. Shot. Glove save. Face off coming up in the Icemen D zone. Mesa, Klaus, Davis, Rubino, and Larson. Davis in for the puck drop. Icemen win that one. Try to clear. Glove down by Rubino. Fed back out to the far wall. Mesa trying to send it back down low. Off the body. Chipped up. Out to Rubino. Puck loose outside the bench for the Icemen. Icemen bring it through. That should be, and it is, an offsides. Rubino feeds it out to Davis. Misconnection there. And the Icemen bring it back the other way. Pad save. Loose picked up by Davis. Davis lobs it up and out. For an icing. 10:47 remaining. Fish, Godino, Westwood, Baldy, and Luong. Fish in for the puck drop. Sends it back to Baldy. Godino. Stretch pass out to Westwood. Chipped in. Stretch pass the other way. Gorman clears it through the neutral zone. Fed out to Godino on the far side. Dropped back to Fish. Looking to hit Westwood. Gets tied up. Westwood to Godino. Godino working in the corner. Kick back up. Baldy, shot. Glove save. .10:03 remaining in the third period. And I'm not sure what we're doing here. Looks like Fish is going to head to the box. Westwood, Godino, Baldy, and Luong in for the PK. Puck comes out in favor of Gorman. Baldy has it pinned in the corner of Godino. Comes out to Westwood. Couldn't clear off the skate. Shot loose out front, and Gorman gets clear the other way. Westwood. And I don't know what we're doing now. Is another whistle. Slashing Number 68, White. Ten-minute misconduct is actually the penalty here. And interesting game. .9:45 remaining. We'll get the clock adjusted here. 9:45 remaining. 1:12 remaining on the Gorman penalty. I think both teams, parents, refs, sorry, not the refs, parents, coaches, and players are a little frustrated here. Icemen win the faceoff. 4-on-4. Icemen keep it in play. Beat it out high in the slot. Dangled through. Picked up by Godino and cleared. Chipped in. Posner back to go get that one for Gorman. Back behind the goal line. 42 seconds remaining. Pass chipped up to the feet. Westwood couldn't field that one. Bouncing puck. And the Icemen will bring it back the other way. Godino shot off the pads, comes into the near corner. Godino feeds it out to Posner, just out of reach. He's going to regroup back at his hash marks. 8 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Posner walks it in, shot off the pads. Gorman back to 5-on-5. Sorry, 5-4 now. Gorman on the power play. 13 seconds left. Kept in play by Larison. Larison walks it up, feeds it out to Creel. Sorry, to Mesa. And we're back to 5-on-5 now. 8:10 remaining. Bouncing puck through the neutral zone. Larison chips back the other way. Icemen feed it through the crease. Picked up by Davis. Clearing attempt. Denied. Shot. Pad save. Fed back down low. Rubino wires it around the boards. Davis along the near side. And Larison back behind the goal line. He's got two on him. Larison brings it around the far side. He's got Davis with him. Loose goal. And Larison makes it a 4-0 game with 7:19 remaining in the third period. All right, Gorman going to change lines here with 7:19 remaining. Creel, Fitzy, Cash Johnson, Baldy, and Luong. Johnson in for the puck drop. Icemen chip it in the Gorman zone. Luong sends it back out to Baldy. Bouncing puck. Not on net. That one's going to come on back. .707 remaining in the third. Icemen winning off the faceoff. Shot off Johnson. Stuffed it. And Gorman gets the clear for another icing. Puck comes out in favor of the Icemen. Couldn't field that one cleanly. Luong picks it up. Tries to feed it through. Chip, clear attempt denied. Through the slot there and picked up by Fitzy. The stick lift, chips it out to Creel. Creel bouncing through. Poke checked off his stick. Johnson in support as well as Fitzy. Puck comes out to Cash Johnson. Walked it up, shot denied. Baldy chips it back down low. And it's going to be a penalty on. It's like number 18 is going to head to the box for the Icemen, and Gorman's going to go on a power play with 6:12 remaining in the third period. And see how we send this one. Looks like sending that player off the ice as well. Not sure how we're going to call. 4-0 is the score. Shots on net, 28-17 in favor of Gorman. Creel, Davis, Fish, Godino, and Trent in for the face-off on the power play here. All right. Minute and a half on the boards. They're going to call that one a double minor. 6:12. Gorman will have 3 minutes power play. Fish in for the puck drop. Wins it back to Godino. Back out to Trent. Shot. Loose up front. Stuffed. Glove down by Godino high in the slot. Then back out to Fish. And that one comes off the stick. Back out to the blue line. Drop back to Fish. Through the neutral zone. Drops back to Davis. Davis feeds it back down low. Creel check from behind. Shot. Loose. Davis with the goal. Power play goal. Davis picks up the loose puck and makes it 5-0. And we are going to be running the clock here. And not sure what the discussions are at the bench. A lot of conversation happening here. 4 minutes on the clock and it's running. All right, getting ready back to 5-on-4 hockey. Gorman, no, 4-on-4. Gorman took a penalty somewhere in the mix. Not sure no one in the box for Gorman. Chip back out the other way. Godino trying to get back on sides. Flushed out by Fish. Not sure why they have 5 players. Gorman has 4. There's a player in the box. And there's still 11 seconds left on Gorman power play. So I'm not quite sure why the Icemen have 5. Kerr forces it out on the far side. 3:11 remaining. Fish in the near corner sends it back out to Kerr. Far corner. Got Fitzy. And decides to ice it down. All right. Do this center ice. 2:13. Iceman breaking through the neutral zone, chipping around the near side. Bonifazio working in the corner with Kerr. Pass goes out to the far side, kept in play by the Iceman. Jennings battling along the far wall, scooped up by Larison. .143 remaining in the third period. Jennings sends it out to the far side. Larison chips back up. At the feet of Bonifazio. Back out to Jennings, chipped. Down to Iceman, D-zone. Sent around the boards. Shot. Save, Faircloth. Clears. Bonifazio squeezes through neutral zone, and Iceman going to regroup. Feet along the near side. Chipped in. It's on net. And that's going to be covered by Faircloth. Face-off coming up. Johnson in for the puck drop. And we're at around 26 seconds. Not sure why it stopped. Shot. Loose out front. Trent dangles through. Feeds it out to Fitzy. And Gorman looking to just kill this one off here. And that'll wrap it up for game number 2. Gorman with a 5-0 win over the PHA Icemen. Gorman now 5-0-1 through round robin play. Game coming up tomorrow against Team Illinois. That game will be at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And game 4 tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time against Lake Forest Academy. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.